This is Marcus Kane, Head Security for Meridian Towers, Silent Quarter Development. October 15th, 2024, 11:47 p.m. I'm recording this on my phone because the building security system just went dark, and I need to document what I'm seeing. Protocol says document everything during facility emergencies. Christ, I wish this was just a power outage. The rain started 3 days ago. Not unusual for Houston, we get these atmospheric rivers that park over the Gulf and just dump. But this one's different. The Weather Service is calling it a 100-year storm, which is corporate speak for, we didn't see this coming and we're fucked. 6 inches in 3 hours. Then another 8. The bayous are over capacity. Buffalo Bayou jumped its banks 6 hours ago. Silent Quarter. God. Even the name pisses me off now. It's this luxury development they built 5 years ago on the east side. 30-story residential towers, street-level boutiques, underground parking for 300 vehicles. Urban renewal, the developers called it. What they meant was, we bulldozed the old neighborhood, paved over the chemical dump nobody wanted to talk about, and built condos for people who pay more for parking than I make in a month. I've worked here 18 months. Night shift, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. My daughter Zoe lives with her mom in Pasadena. That's the suburb, not the California one. I see her every other weekend. Child supports murder on a security guard's salary. But the overtime here keeps me afloat. Kept me afloat. The residents mostly ignore me. I'm furniture. The guy who opens doors and calls them cabs and pretends not to notice when they stumble in drunk at 3 a.m. Mrs. Patricia Ashford in 2847. She's the only one who knows my first name. Brought me cookies last Christmas. Snickerdoodles. Zoe loved them. Tonight I'm trapped in Tower C with 47 residents and rising water. Let me back up. The flooding started street level around 9 p.m. Normal at first, water pooling in the low spots, storm drains backing up. I was doing my rounds, checking the parking garage levels. We've got 3 sub-basements. B1 is retail storage. B2 is resident parking. B3 is mechanical, HVAC, generators, water treatment. By 10 p.m., B3 was taking on water. The pumps were running, but couldn't keep pace. I called building management, got voicemail, called the emergency line. They said to evacuate basement levels and monitor the situation. Monitor, like I'm supposed to stand there with a clipboard while the entire foundation floods. I got the maintenance crew, just 2 guys, Hector and Deshawn, to help me seal the basement stairwell doors. We used the emergency bulkheads, these heavy steel barriers designed for exactly this scenario. Locked them down tight. Water was already knee-deep in B3 when we sealed it. That's when I smelled it. The water, it wasn't clean flood runoff. It was chemical, sharp, metallic, wrong. Like someone dumped a barrel of paint thinner mixed with rotten eggs and industrial cleaner. Hector noticed it too. Man, that's not rainwater, he said. His voice had this edge to it. That's ground contamination. That's what they buried. See, Silent Quarter used to be the old 5th Ward industrial zone. Chemical plants, refineries, metal processing. Shut down in the 80s when regulations actually meant something. The companies just capped the waste tanks, trucked off the barrels they couldn't hide, and sold the land cheap. Developers looked the other way because the location was prime, close to downtown, close to the new rail line. EPA did a site assessment in 2018, found elevated levels of trichloroethylene, benzene, heavy metals. Acceptable risk for commercial development with proper remediation, which meant they poured a concrete cap over everything and called it good. 6 feet of concrete and clay between the water table and the luxury condos. 6 feet doesn't mean shit when you get 30 inches of rain in 3 days. The water in B3 was leaching up through the foundation, carrying decades of buried poison with it. And now that water was rising into B2, where 200 vehicles were parked, where the elevator shafts connected directly to every floor above. 11:52 p.m. The first scream came from the parking garage. I was in the lobby with Deshawn, trying to get the emergency generator online for the elevators. The main power was flickering, brown out from the grid overload. Hector had gone down to B2 to move some of the residents' cars to higher ground before the water reached them. The scream cut through the lobby, echoing up the stairwell. Not a surprise scream, not a "I stepped in water" scream, a horror scream, the kind that makes your spine lock up. Deshawn and I looked at each other. Then we ran. The B2 stairwell door was still open. We hadn't sealed it yet because residents were still moving vehicles. I yanked it wide and the smell hit me like a fist. That chemical stink, but worse now. Organic rot mixing with industrial poison. The stairwell lights were emergency battery backups, dim and yellowish. "Hector," I shouted down. "Hector, you okay?" Nothing, just the sound of water, not flowing water, lapping water, like something was moving through it. Deshawn grabbed my arm. "Marcus, man, we should wait for..." I pulled free and started down. I've known Hector 3 months. Good guy, funny, sends half his paycheck back to family in Juarez. I wasn't leaving him down there. The water was waist-deep on the B2 landing. Fluorescent lights overhead flickering, reflecting off the surface in sick greenish pulses. The parking level stretched out ahead, concrete pillars every 20 feet, cars parked in neat rows now half submerged. Hector was standing in the middle of the garage, 30 feet away, water up to his chest, just standing there, not moving. "Hector," I called. My voice sounded too loud. Wrong. "Come on, man, we need to get upstairs." He didn't turn around, didn't react. I waded toward him, the water cold and oily against my legs. The chemical smell was overwhelming now, making my eyes water. I got within 10 feet. "Hector, you hear me?" That's when he turned around. His face was gray, not pale, gray, like concrete. His eyes were open but the whites were yellowed, pupils dilated so wide there was almost no iris. His mouth hung open and water was dripping from his lips. Not clear water, dark water, stained. "Marcus," his voice sounded wet, choked. "It's in the water. It's in me. I can feel it growing." Then he lunged. I stumbled backward, tripped over something submerged, went under. The water closed over my head and I got a mouthful. Bitter, burning chemical fire down my throat. I came up gagging, thrashing toward the stairwell. Hector was following, not running, walking, steady, mechanical, his hands reaching. Deshawn was screaming my name from the stairs. I half swam, half crawled toward him. Behind me, Hector's footsteps splashed closer. That wet breathing sound. I hit the stairs, dragged myself up. Deshawn grabbed my jacket, hauled me onto the landing. We slammed the stairwell door shut, through the deadbolt. Hector's hands slammed against the other side. Once, twice, then silence. "What the fuck?" Deshawn kept saying. "What the fuck, what the fuck, what the..." "Help me seal this," I said. My voice was shaking. The taste in my mouth was copper and chemicals. I spat onto the concrete, and my saliva came out pink. We got the emergency bulkhead down over the B2 access. Steel barrier, same as B3. Locked it with the manual wheel lock. Through the door, I could hear water rising, and under that, movement, splashing. More than one person moving down there. Deshawn and I got back to the lobby. I was soaked, shivering. The chemical water was burning my skin where it touched. Red welts rising on my hands and neck. I made it to the security desk and grabbed the building radio. "Tower A, Tower B, this is Tower C security. We have a contamination event in the basement levels. Do not repeat, do not access parking levels B2 or B3. We need immediate emergency services, medical and hazmat. Over. Static. Then Tower A's night guard, Malcolm, came through. Tower C, we're dealing with flooding too. What kind of contamination? Chemical, I said. Ground toxins leaching into flood water. And I stopped. How do I say this? And behavioral changes in exposed personnel. Hector went into the water and he's not right. Attacked me. We've sealed him in B2. Longer static this time. When Malcolm came back, his voice was tight. Tower C, we've got similar reports from our B3 level. Maintenance worker went down 20 minutes ago. Came back wrong. Had to lock her in the mechanical room. What the hell is this? I didn't have an answer. Through the lobby windows, I could see the street outside. Water was up to the ground floor boutique windows now, at least 4 feet deep and rising. Emergency vehicle lights flashing in the distance, but they weren't getting closer. They couldn't. The roads were flooded. Midnight. Tower C's main power failed. Emergency lighting kicked in, bathing the lobby in red. The elevator shafts were dead. The only way up or down was the stairs, and half of them accessed the flooded basements. I needed to check on the residents. 47 people in 280 units across 30 floors. Most of them asleep, unaware. Some probably drunk or high or fucking. All of them about to wake up trapped. Deshaun was sitting against the security desk, head in his hands. My phone's dead, he said. Tried calling my wife. Nothing. Cell towers must be swamped. We need to do a floor by floor, I said. Make sure everyone's accounted for. Get them to stay in their units until rescue arrives. Rescue? Deshaun laughed, but it wasn't funny. Marcus, man, nobody's coming. Not in this. We're on our own. I knew he was right, but I had a job to do. Protect and serve the residents of Meridian Towers. That's what my contract said. That's what they pay me $11 an hour plus overtime to do. I grabbed the emergency supplies from the security locker. 2 flashlights, a first aid kit, bolt cutters, the master key fob for every unit. Handed Deshaun a flashlight. Start at floor 30, work down, I said. I'll start at 15, work up. We meet at 22. Anyone who won't answer their door, we document and move on. Anyone sick or injured, we note their unit number. Clear? Deshaun nodded. He was scared. Hell, I was scared. But he was solid. Good man in a crisis. We split up at the north stairwell. The red emergency lights made everything look like a horror movie. My footsteps echoed. The building was too quiet. Even with the storm hammering outside, there should have been more sound. People talking, TVs, music. Instead, just the distant thunder and the closer sound of water rising through elevator shafts. Floor 15. I knocked on 1501. Building security, checking on resident welfare. Mrs. Patricia Ashford opened immediately. She was in her 70s, always wore pearls even at midnight. Marcus, thank God. What's happening? The power. Storm flooding, Mrs. Ashford. I need you to stay in your unit until further notice. Do you have enough food and water? Yes, but Marcus, is it serious? I looked at her kind face, at the concern in her eyes. I thought about lying, thought about saying everything would be fine. Rescue was coming, just stay calm. Yes, ma'am, I said. It's serious. Don't go near the stairwells or elevators. If the water starts coming up through the drains, call me on the house phone if it works. Otherwise, go to the highest interior room. Understand? She nodded and I saw real fear there. She wasn't stupid. She could hear it in my voice. I continued down the hall. 1503, 1505, 1507. Some answered, some didn't. I marked the non-responders on my phone notes. 12 units on this floor alone with no answer. To 1511, something was wrong with the door. Water was seeping out from under it. Not flood water from outside, this was coming from inside the unit. And it smelled wrong. That chemical smell. I knocked. Building security. Are you okay in there? No answer. I used the master key fob. The lock clicked open. The apartment was flooded. Ankle-deep water covering the hardwood floors. And the smell. Jesus Christ, the smell was overpowering. The same chemical rot as the basement. Hello, I called. This is building security. The water in the apartment was moving, not draining, moving purposefully, flowing from the bathroom. I waded toward it, flashlight beam cutting through the red emergency lighting. The bathroom door was open. The bathtub was overflowing, faucet running full blast. But the water coming out wasn't clear. It was dark, contaminated. And there was someone in the tub. The resident, a man, maybe 40, I didn't recognize him, was submerged except for his face. Eyes open underwater, staring at nothing. His skin was that same gray color I'd seen on Hector. I reached down, grabbed his shoulder. Sir, I need you to. His hand shot out of the water and grabbed my wrist. His grip was freezing, strong. His eyes focused on me, and his mouth opened underwater. Bubbles rose. He was trying to talk. I yanked free, stumbled back into the hallway, slammed the door. My heart was hammering so hard I thought I'd pass out. I locked the door from the outside with the master override, tagged it in my phone. 1511. Resident compromised. Do not enter. Floor by floor, I found more. Unit 1673. Resident collapsed in kitchen, surrounded by dark water leaking from the refrigerator ice maker. Unit 1891. Bathroom flooding. Resident submerged in shower, water running cold. Unit 2103. Kitchen sink overflowing. Resident drinking directly from the contaminated stream. They were all the same. Gray skin, yellow eyes, that wet, labored breathing. And they were spreading the water, deliberately, running faucets, flooding their units, letting the contaminated water flow into the hallways. By the time I reached floor 22 to meet Deshawn, the stairwell was wet. Water was climbing the building through every pipe, every drain, every crack in the concrete, and it was carrying the contamination with it. Deshawn was waiting at the landing, and his face told me he'd seen the same thing. They're in the water, he said. The ones who touched it, they're spreading it. Marcus, what the fuck is this? Some kind of chemical poisoning? I didn't know. I still don't. But I've been doing this job long enough to recognize a pattern when I see one. The contaminated water was reanimating something, or creating something. The residents who touched it, who drank it, who submerged in it, they weren't dying. They were changing, becoming vectors, spreading the contamination deliberately. We need to get everyone to the top floors, I said, above the water line. Keep people away from any water source. And then what? Deshawn asked. Wait for rescue that's not coming? I didn't have an answer. Through the stairwell window, I could see the city beyond. Downtown Houston was dark except for emergency lights. The storm was still raging, rain coming down in sheets. The water in the streets was black and reflective, spreading like oil. And in that water, I saw movement, figures wading through the flood, dozens of them, hundreds, all heading toward the high ground, heading toward buildings like ours. Silent Quarter wasn't just flooding, it was drowning, and the things rising from the water weren't coming to save us. My radio crackled, Malcolm from Tower A, but his voice was wrong. Bit. Choked. Tower C, he said. The water, it's beautiful. You should come down. Come see. We're all going down. Then static. I looked at Deshawn. He looked at me. Above us, 30 floors of residence. Below us, rising contaminated water and the things it was creating. This is Marcus Kane, Head Security, Meridian Towers, Tower C. It's 1:23 a.m., October 16th, and I need to get 47 people to safety before the water reaches them. 1:47 a.m. Deshaun and I are on floor 28, trying to organize a disaster with no training and no backup. The residents we've managed to gather, 23 so far, are scared and asking questions I can't answer. Why isn't rescue here? Why won't their phones work? What's in the water? I keep thinking about Hector, about Mrs. Ashford's snickerdoodles, about the child support payment that's due Friday, about Zoe asking why Daddy's phone goes straight to voicemail. Focus. Document. That's what protocol says. We've commandeered the 28th floor common area, one of those luxury amenities the developers put in to justify the rent. Floor-to-ceiling windows showing the flooded city, a kitchenette, leather furniture, usually empty except for the occasional resident mixer. Tonight, it's our refuge. The residents are a cross-section of silent quarters demographic. Young professionals, empty nesters, one family with 2 kids, the Knoxes, Unit 2847. Their daughter can't be more than 6. She keeps asking where her goldfish is. They left it in their apartment when I told everyone to evacuate upward. I'm trying to organize, inventory our resources, figure out how long we can hold out. Mrs. Patricia Ashford is helping. She's the only one who seems to understand the gravity. Everyone else thinks this is temporary, that FEMA will show up with boats any minute, that their expensive condos come with guaranteed rescue. Marcus, she says quietly, pulling me aside, what did you see down there, in the lower floors? I don't want to tell her, but she deserves truth. The water's contaminated, I say, chemical runoff from the old industrial site, and it's affecting people, making them sick, changing their behavior. Changing how? I think about Hector's gray face, the resident in Unit 1511 submerged in the tub, Malcolm's wet voice on the radio. They're drawn to the water, I say, and once they're exposed, they try to spread it. They run faucets. They flood their units. It's like the contamination is making them want to contaminate others. Mrs. Ashford's face goes pale. My God, this is why you're keeping us away from the bathrooms. I told everyone not to use water, not to drink from taps, not to shower, not even to flush toilets. Some complained. I didn't explain why. Deshaun comes over. Marcus, we've got a problem. Unit 2654, the Ramirez family. Father's sick. Says he drank some tap water before we issued the warning. He's asking for more. Shit, how much did he drink? Half a glass, he says, but he wants more. Says he's so thirsty. And his skin. I follow Deshaun to where the Ramirez family is sitting. The father, Gabriel, I think his name is sweating heavily. His skin has a grayish tinge. His eyes are bloodshot, yellowing at the edges. His wife and teenage son are watching him with growing fear. Mr. Ramirez, I say, kneeling down, how are you feeling? Thirsty, he says. His voice is hoarse. So thirsty. Can you get me water? From the tap? The bottled stuff doesn't taste right. Sir, the tap water is contaminated. You can't drink it. But I need it. His hand grabs my arm. His grip is too strong, too cold. Please, I need to go back to my apartment. The bathtub. I can fill the bathtub. Just let me go back down. His wife is crying. Gabriel, what are you saying? We need to stay here. We should all go down, Gabriel says, and his eyes are focusing past me, toward the stairwell. The water's rising. It'll reach us eventually. Why wait? So peaceful down there. Cool. Dark. We should go down. All of us. I pull free from his grip. Look at Deshaun. We both know what's happening. Gabriel Ramirez drank the contaminated water. Now it's in him, working, changing him. Mr. Ramirez, I say carefully, I need you to stay here. Don't go near the stairwells. Don't go near any water source. Can you do that? Why? He sounds genuinely confused. What's wrong with the water? It's just water. His son, maybe 16, is backing away. Dad, your skin, your eyes. Something's wrong. Gabriel looks at his hands, at the gray tinge spreading up his forearms, at the dark veins visible beneath the skin, pulsing with something that isn't blood. I feel fine, he says, but his voice is changing, getting that wet, choked quality I heard on the radio. Better than fine, strong, clear-headed. The water showed me, we don't need rescue, we just need to go down, into the water. It's waiting for us. Mrs. Ashford steps forward. Gabriel, listen to me. You're experiencing toxic exposure. The chemicals in the water are affecting your brain. You need to fight it. Stay with your family. He looks at her, and for a moment something human flickers in his eyes. Fear. Recognition that something is terribly wrong. Then it passes. His expression goes blank. Calm. I'm going to the bathroom, he says, standing. I need water. Deshawn moves to block him. Sir, we can't let you do that. Gabriel's hand shoots out, faster than should be possible. He grabs Deshawn's shoulder and shoves. Deshawn goes stumbling backward into a leather chair. I step between Gabriel and the hallway. Mr. Ramirez, I can't let you contaminate the water supply. I need you to sit back down. He looks at me with those yellowing eyes. You can't stop me. None of you can. The water's already here. In the pipes. In the walls. Rising. It'll reach this floor soon. Then the next. You can wait for it or you can go meet it. Either way, we all join eventually. He starts walking toward me. Not aggressive. Just inevitable. Like flood water finding its path. I have maybe 2 seconds to make a decision. Let him go to the bathroom where he'll flood it, spread contamination to the 28th floor, or stop him physically. Restrain a resident. Probably hurt him in the process. Some of the other residents are watching. They don't understand what's happening. All they see is a security guard threatening a sick man. Marcus, Mrs. Ashford says quietly. He's right about one thing. The water is rising. I can hear it in the pipes. She's right. There's a sound in the walls now. A rushing, gurgling sound. The building's plumbing is full of contaminated water, and it's climbing. Gabriel pushes past me. I grab his arm. He turns surprisingly strong and we grapple. Other residents are shouting. His wife is screaming. Deshawn is trying to pull us apart. Then Gabriel's nose starts bleeding. Not blood, dark water. It pours from his nostrils, from his mouth, staining his teeth black. He coughs, spraying droplets across my face. I taste it, that bitter chemical burn. I stumble back, wiping my face frantically. Gabriel collapses. His body hits the floor convulsing. More dark water flowing from his eyes, his ears. His skin is fully gray now, almost translucent. The veins beneath are black, pulsing. His wife rushes to him. I try to pull her back. Don't touch him. But she's already kneeling in the spreading pool of contaminated fluid. Gabriel, she's screaming. Gabriel, stay with me. He goes still. For a moment, I think he's dead. Then his eyes open, fully yellow now, no white at all, and he smiles. It's beautiful, he whispers. Come see. Come down to the water. His hand reaches up, grabs his wife's wrist. She screams, tries to pull away, but his grip is iron. I grab her other arm, pulling. Deshawn joins me. We're in a nightmare tug-of-war over this woman while her husband, or the thing that used to be her husband, tries to drag her down. Maria! Their son is screaming. Mom! We pull harder. Gabriel's grip breaks. His wife stumbles backward into my arms. I drag her away from her husband's body. Gabriel sits up. Slowly, mechanically. Water is still dripping from his mouth, but he's not convulsing anymore. He stands, and the way he moves is wrong. Too smooth, too fluid. Come down, he says to all of us. His voice sounds like it's coming from underwater. All of you, come down to the water. It's cold. It's quiet. No more worrying. No more bills. No more work. Just peace. Just water. He starts walking toward the stairwell. Stop him, someone shouts. But nobody moves. We're all frozen, watching this gray-skinned thing that used to be a man walk calmly toward the stairs. I should stop him. I know I should. But if I touch him, if I get more of that contaminated water on me. He reaches the stairwell door, opens it. The sound of rushing water echoes up from below. He starts descending, and I can hear his footsteps splashing as he walks into the flood. The door swings closed. Silence. Jesus Christ, someone whispers. What was that? Mrs. Ramirez is sobbing in her son's arms. Her hands, the ones that touched Gabriel, are already showing gray discoloration. She doesn't notice yet, but I do, and Deshawn does. Mrs. Ramirez, I say gently, I need you to come with me. We need to isolate you, keep you away from everyone else. She looks up, confused. What? Why? Your husband was contaminated. You touched him. The toxin can spread through contact with the water. I'm fine, she says, but she looks at her hands, at the gray spreading up her wrists. I'm fine. She's not fine, and she knows it. I can see the knowledge hit her, the fear. My son, she says, keep him away from me. Don't let him. Her nose starts bleeding. Dark water. Mom! Her son screams. I grab him, pull him back. Don't touch her. Deshawn. Help me get everyone away from. Too late. Mrs. Ramirez convulses, falls to her knees. Dark water pouring from her mouth, her eyes. More contaminated fluid spreading across the floor. People are panicking now, scrambling away from her. Someone's crying. Someone else is screaming about calling 911. Like 911 exists anymore. Mrs. Ramirez goes still, then stands. Same yellow eyes, same wet smile. Come down, she says in that underwater voice. Join us. The water is rising. You can't escape it. Why fight? She starts walking toward the stairwell. Her son tries to follow, still calling for his mother. Deshawn and I grab him, hold him back. He's fighting us, crying, not understanding that his mother is gone. She disappears into the stairwell, more splashing footsteps descending. The common area is chaos. 23 residents who thought they were safe now watching two people transform and walk into contaminated water. They're demanding answers I don't have. Some are trying to leave, go back to their apartments. Others are arguing about whether we should break windows and signal for help. Everyone, I shout. Everyone, please, listen to me. Takes a minute, but they quiet down. All eyes on me. The security guard who's supposed to protect them, who's supposed to know what to do. The water is contaminated with industrial chemicals, I say. Exposure causes rapid physiological and psychological changes. Anyone who drinks it or submerges in it becomes a vector. They try to spread the contamination to others. We've lost the lower floors. The water is rising through the building's plumbing. We need to stay above the waterline and away from all water sources. For how long? Someone demands. When is rescue coming? I don't know, I admit. Emergency services are overwhelmed. The whole city is flooding. We're on our own for now. "This is insane," a young woman says. She's holding a designer purse like it's a security blanket. "I pay $4,000 a month for this apartment. Where's building management? Where's the developer?" "Gone," Mrs. Ashford says quietly. "This development was always a house of cards. They knew about the contamination. They capped it and hoped it would hold. Now the floods washed it all away." "You knew?" someone else demands. "You knew this place was built on toxic waste?" "We all knew," Mrs. Ashford says. "We just didn't want to think about it. Real estate values matter more than history, until history comes back." The building shudders, a deep, bass rumble that I feel in my chest. The lights flicker. "What was that?" Deshawn asks. "I don't know, but through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I can see something changing in the water below. The flood is glowing, faint bioluminescence like the photos I've seen of algae blooms in the Gulf. But this isn't natural. The chemical contamination is reacting with something organic in the water, creating light. And in that eerie glow, I can see them, dozens of figures wading through the streets, all moving with that same fluid, mechanical purpose, all gray-skinned and yellow-eyed, all converging on the towers. "They're coming," I say. "Everyone who touched the water. They're all coming here." "Why?" someone asks. "Because we're still uncontaminated," Mrs. Ashford answers. "Because the water wants to spread, and it's using them to do it." The building shudders again. This time I hear something break. Somewhere below us, a pipe bursting, a rush of water flooding into hallways. The contamination has reached the mid-levels of Tower C, and it's not stopping. I look at Deshawn, at Mrs. Ashford, at the 21 remaining residents who are looking to me for answers. "We go up," I say. "Top floor, rooftop access if we can get it open. We get as high as we can and we wait for the water to stop rising. If it stops rising." "And if it doesn't?" the young woman with the purse asks. I don't answer, because we all know what happens if the water reaches the top floor. We all watched Gabriel and Maria Ramirez transform. We've all seen what the contamination does. We gather what supplies we can. Bottled water, ironically, snacks from the kitchenette, first aid kit, my flashlights. Young Ramirez is still crying for his mother. Mrs. Ashford stays with him, talking quietly. I don't know what she's saying. Maybe there are no words that help. We start climbing. 22 humans and me, heading for floor 30, heading for the roof, running from water that's filling every pipe, every drain, every gap in the concrete. Behind us, I hear splashing in the stairwell. Wet footsteps ascending. The contaminated are climbing too, following us, patient and inevitable. This is Marcus Kane, 2:34 a.m., October 16th. Tower C, Meridian Towers. The water is rising, and I don't know if we can climb fast enough.
3:12 nachts.
Floor 30. Rooftop access door is locked. I'm using the bolt cutters from the emergency kit, but the mechanism is industrial grade, designed to prevent roof access without proper authorization, because heaven forbid residents go where they're not supposed to, even during an apocalypse. Marcus. Deshawn is at the stairwell door watching down. They're at 27, moving steady. I can hear them, splashing footsteps, dozens of them, the contaminated climbing toward us with that mechanical patience. They don't run, don't rush, they just walk, because they know we have nowhere to go. The bolt cutters aren't working. The lock is too thick. "Let me try," Mrs. Ashford says. She's holding a fire extinguisher from the hallway. "Step back." She swings it like a battering ram, slamming into the lock mechanism. Once, twice, third time something cracks. The lock housing bends. I join her using the bolt cutters as a pry bar. The door groans. Metal screams. Then it gives way, swinging open to reveal a narrow service ladder leading up to the roof hatch. "Everyone up!" I shout. "Now!" The residents scramble for the ladder. Young Ramirez first. Mrs. Ashford practically shoves him onto the rungs. Then the Knox family, the kids crying but climbing. One by one, they go up. "They're at 28, Deshawn calls from the stairwell door. I can hear them closer now, that wet breathing sound. Multiple voices speaking in unison. "Come down, come see, come to the water." The last residents climb. Mrs. Ashford goes up, then Deshawn. I'm at the bottom of the ladder when the stairwell door opens. Gabriel Ramirez stands there. His skin is fully translucent now, showing the dark network of veins beneath. His eyes are solid yellow, glowing faintly in the emergency lighting. Behind him, a dozen others. Maria, Malcolm from Tower A, Hector. Residents I recognize from my security rounds. All of them gray, all of them dripping, all of them smiling that wet smile. "Marcus," Gabriel says, "you should come down. Your daughter misses you. Zoe, she's waiting in the water." My blood goes cold. "What did you say?" "Zoe," he repeats. "She's asking for her daddy. She's in the water at your ex-wife's house. Pasadena is flooding too. She went down to the water and now she's waiting. She wants you to join her. She's so cold, Marcus, so alone. You should come down. Come see your daughter." He's lying. He has to be lying. But the thought of Zoe in this contaminated water, transforming like these people. "Marcus," Deshawn is screaming from above. "Come on." I grab the ladder, start climbing. Below me, the contaminated pour through the doorway. They don't rush the ladder. They just stand there, looking up, waiting. I reach the roof hatch. Deshawn pulls me through. We slam it shut, and I engage the emergency lock. Heavy steel designed to seal the roof in case of tornado. It should hold. Should. The rooftop is open to the storm. Rain hammering down, wind whipping. The 22 residents are huddled against the utility building that houses the elevator machinery. They're soaked, shivering, terrified. I can see the city from here. Houston spread out below, and it's drowning. The flood water extends as far as I can see, glowing with that eerie bioluminescence. Downtown is dark except for emergency lights on the tallest buildings. Buffalo Bayou has merged with the streets, everything one vast toxic sea. And in that water, figures, thousands of them, all waiting, all converging. "Oh God," someone whispers. The whole city. Mrs. Ashford is using her phone's flashlight to check everyone. Who has injuries? Who feels sick? Anyone with gray skin or yellow eyes? Speak up now. Nobody answers, but I see someone, the young woman with the designer purse, hiding her hands. She catches me looking and slowly shows them. Gray discoloration on her palms. "I washed my hands," she says, "in the bathroom on 28. Before you told us about the water. I needed to wash my hands. I didn't know." Her name is Bethany. She's 26, works in marketing, sometimes talks on her phone at 2 a.m. in the hallway, loudly, about client calls. I've had to ask her to be quieter twice. "When?" Ask. 20 minutes ago? Maybe more. I don't feel sick. I feel fine. But she's sweating, and her eyes are bloodshot. Mrs. Ashford looks at me. We both know what's coming. "Bethany," I say gently, "I need you to stay away from everyone else. Don't touch anyone. Don't share food or water. And if you start feeling thirsty, really thirsty, for tap water, you tell me immediately. Understand?" She nods. She's scared. She knows. The Knox family is in the corner. The mother is holding both children, trying to shield them from the rain. The father is checking his phone obsessively, even though there's no signal. Young Ramirez is sitting alone, staring at nothing. His parents are gone, transformed, walking in the water below. I wonder if he can see them down there. I wonder if that's better or worse than not knowing. Deshawn comes over. Marcus, we need to talk about the reality here. We've got no food except what we grabbed. Maybe 6 bottles of water among 22 people. No shelter except that utility building which is locked. And the rain's not stopping. I know. And that woman, Bethany, she's going to turn. Maybe tonight. Maybe in an hour. We saw how fast it took the Ramirezes. I know. So what's the plan? We wait up here until we dehydrate, until the water rises to the roof, until we all turn gray. I don't have a plan. I snap. I'm a security guard, Deshawn. I make $11 an hour. I'm not trained for toxic floods and zombie chemical victims. I'm just trying to keep people alive. He's quiet. Then, sorry, man.
I'm scared.
Me too. Below us, something slams against the roof hatch. Once, twice. The contaminated are testing it. They know we're up here. Mrs. Ashford joins us. The children need shelter. That utility building. Can you open it? It's locked. Authorized maintenance only. Then unauthorized it. We need somewhere dry. She's right. I grab the bolt cutters, approach the utility building door. It's a simple padlock this time. I cut through it in 30 seconds. Inside, the elevator motor housing, electrical panels, HVAC controls. And, thank God, some maintenance supplies. Tarps, emergency blankets, a space heater that won't work without power. But it's dry. It's enclosed. We start moving people in. The Knox kids first, wrapped in emergency blankets. Then the others. It's cramped, maybe 8 by 10 feet, but it's better than the exposed roof. Bethany stays outside. I shouldn't be around them, she says. Not if I'm going to turn. You don't know that, I say, but we both know I'm lying. She sits against the exterior wall, rain soaking her hair. Her expensive clothes are ruined. Her designer purse is waterlogged. None of it matters now. I'm trying to think, trying to plan. We need rescue. We need someone to know we're here. My phone is dead. Deshawn's too. Mrs. Ashford's has maybe 5% battery. The Knox's phones are dead. Everyone else either left theirs in their apartments or they're waterlogged from the rain. Emergency flares, Deshawn says. Building safety kit. We've got to have signal flares somewhere. We search the utility building. Find a lockbox labeled emergency. Inside, road flares, a hand crank radio, another first aid kit, and a very pistol, one of those flare guns for maritime emergencies. Why does a residential building have a flare gun? Deshawn asks. Developer probably bought a bulk emergency kit, Mrs. Ashford says. Some maritime surplus. Cheaper than buying proper building supplies. I check the flare gun. 3 flares loaded. I step out into the rain, point it at the sky, and fire. The flare arcs up, burning red against the black clouds. It's beautiful, desperate, a tiny cry for help in a drowning city. We wait, watch the sky for helicopters, for any sign that someone saw. Nothing, just rain and darkness and the glow of contaminated water below. I fire the second flare, then the third. 3 red stars climbing into the storm, then falling back to earth. Still nothing. Nobody's coming. Someone says from inside the utility building, "We're going to die up here." "Shut up," Mrs. Ashford snaps. "We're not dead yet." But the despair is setting in. I can see it on their faces. These people, these residents who paid thousands a month for luxury living, are realizing that money doesn't buy rescue. that wealth doesn't buy safety, that the silent quarter development was always a lie built on poison. 3:47 a.m. Bethany starts showing more symptoms. She's sweating heavily despite the cold rain. Her skin is fully gray now, spreading up her neck. Her eyes are yellowing. "I'm so thirsty," she says. Is there any water?" "Only bottled," I say.
No.
I need tap water. Or rain. I need to." She stops, looks at her hands. "It's happening, isn't it? I'm turning into one of them." "Maybe we can slow it down," I say. "Keep you away from water. Keep you." "Marcus." She looks at me with those yellowing eyes. "You've seen what happens. You watched the Ramirez's. I'm going to turn. And when I do, I'm going to try to contaminate everyone here. You know that." I don't answer, because she's right. "You need to push me off the roof," she says, "before I turn completely, while I'm still me enough to ask." "I'm not doing that." "Then lock me somewhere. Tie me up. Something. Because in 10 minutes, I'm going to start trying to get into that utility building where everyone's hiding. And I won't stop. I won't be able to stop." Deshawn is listening. "She's right, Marcus. We need to isolate her." "Where?" I gesture at the roof. "There's nowhere to lock her. And I'm not tying up a resident like an animal." "I'm not a resident anymore," Bethany says. "I'm a contamination vector. The water's in me. I can feel it. It's cold and dark and it's beautiful, Marcus. It wants me to share it. It wants me to bring all of you down into it." Her nose starts bleeding. Dark water. "Oh God," she whispers. "It's happening now." The residents in the utility building have noticed. They're backing away from the door, even though she's outside. Panic spreading. Bethany convulses, falls to her knees. More dark water pouring from her mouth, mixing with the rain. I should do something. Restrain her. Separate her. Something. But I just stand there watching another person die and come back wrong. She goes still, then stands, yellow eyes fixed on the utility building where everyone's hiding. "Come down," she says in that underwater voice. "Come see the water. It's rising. It's almost here. Why wait? Why fight?" She starts walking toward the utility building door. I step between her and the entrance. "Bethany, stop." "Move," she says, not threatening, just matter of fact. "Move or I'll move you." Behind me, I can hear people inside the utility building panicking. The Knox children crying. Someone praying. Bethany reaches for the door handle. I grab her wrist, trying to pull her back. Her skin is cold, wet. She's stronger than she should be. We struggle. She's not trying to hurt me, just get past me. But her grip is iron. Her gray hands leaving wet prints on my jacket. "Deshawn," I shout. "Help me." He grabs her other arm. Together, we drag her away from the door. She doesn't scream or fight back violently, just keeps trying to walk forward with that mechanical patience. "Let me go," she says calmly. "Let me show them. The water is beautiful. They'll understand when they see." We pull her to the edge of the roof, to the low wall that's all that separates us from a 30-story drop to the flooded streets. "What do we do?" Deshawn asks. "We can't hold her forever." Bethany looks at us with those yellow eyes. "You should join me, all of you. The water's rising. Floor 29 is flooding now, then 30, then the roof. It's inevitable. Why fight what you can't stop?" She's right about the water rising. I can hear it now, a rushing sound from the roof hatch. The contaminated water is climbing the final floors. And below us, I can see the water level in the streets rising higher, the bioluminescent glow spreading, the glowing figures in the water looking up at us. "I'm sorry," I tell Bethany. I'm so sorry. Don't be, she says. I'm not afraid anymore. The water took my fear. It took everything except the desire to share it, to bring others down. It's peaceful, Marcus. You'll see. I look at Deshawn. We both know what we have to do, what we have to choose. Push her off and kill what's left of a 26-year-old woman whose only crime was washing her hands. Or let her go and watch her contaminate everyone in the utility building. No good options, just terrible choices. I'll do it, Deshawn says quietly. You've made enough hard calls tonight. No, I say. My building, my responsibility. I look at Bethany, at the gray face that used to be pretty, at the yellow eyes that used to be blue, at the wet smile that isn't human anymore. I'm sorry, I say again. Then I let her go. She doesn't fall. She steps backward onto the ledge of her own accord, stands there for a moment, balanced on the edge of the 30-story drop. Come down, she says one more time. Come see. Then she steps off. I don't watch her fall. I just hear the distant splash when she hits the water below. Deshawn is shaking.
I'm shaking.
We just killed someone. Let someone die. I don't even know the right words for what we just did. From the utility building, someone is sobbing. Someone else is praying louder. The Knox children are asking their mother what happened to the lady. Mrs. Ashford comes out, looks at us, looks at the empty space where Bethany was standing. You did what was necessary, she says. Did I? Ask. Or did I just murder a resident? She was already gone. What walked off that roof wasn't Bethany anymore. Maybe, but I'll see her yellow eyes for the rest of my life, however long that is. The roof hatch is shaking now. The contaminated below are slamming against it harder. The metal is bending. They're breaking through, Deshawn says. I check the hatch. The emergency seal is cracking. Water is seeping around the edges. Contaminated water. How long? Mrs. Ashford asks. Minutes, maybe less. She nods, like she expected this. Then we need to decide. Do we fight them when they come up, or do we join them? We fight, I say. We have to fight. With what? We're unarmed, exhausted. 22 civilians against dozens of contaminated. She's right, but I don't know what else to do. The hatch bursts open. Water floods out, spreading across the roof. And with it, they come. Gabriel Ramirez first, then Maria, then Hector, then dozens of others. All gray, all yellow-eyed, all dripping. They form a line between us and the utility building, between us and the 20 people hiding inside. Come down, they say in unison. Come see the water. I'm holding a pipe wrench from the utility building. Deshawn has a crowbar. Mrs. Ashford is gripping the fire extinguisher. Against dozens of contaminated with superhuman strength and no fear of death. We're going to die on this roof. But then something changes. The contaminated stop advancing. They're looking up at the sky. I look up too, and I see it. A light cutting through the rain and clouds. A helicopter, Coast Guard markings, spotlights sweeping across the rooftops. They saw the flares. Someone saw the flares. The helicopter is descending, fighting the wind. A rescue basket lowering on a cable. Everyone out. I scream at the utility building. Now, get to the basket. The residents pour out, running toward the descending basket toward salvation. But the contaminated are moving again, not toward us, toward the helicopter. They're trying to stop the rescue. Go! I shout at the residents. Get them up first. Children first. The Knox family reaches the basket. The mother puts her daughter in, then her son. The basket starts rising, carrying them up to safety. The contaminated are at the utility building now, swarming it, looking for more people to pull down. Deshawn and I hold them off, swinging pipe wrench and crowbar. They don't fight back violently, just try to grab us, pull us toward the flooded roof hatch. The basket comes back down. More residents pile in. Up they go. Again. Each trip taking precious minutes while the contaminated multiply. More climbing through the hatch. The entire 30th floor must be flooded now, all of them coming up. Mrs. Ashford is coordinating the evacuations. Calm, professional, getting people into the basket efficiently. Young Ramirez is next. He's fighting, trying to stay on the roof. "My parents," he's screaming. "My parents are down there." "They're gone," Mrs. Ashford tells him firmly. "You're alive. Stay that way." She puts him in the basket. He goes up, still screaming for his mother. Down to 8 of us, then 6, then 4. "You next," I tell Deshawn. "Together," he says. "Not enough room. Get up there. That's an order." He looks at me, then nods, gets in the basket with Mrs. Ashford and another resident. They rise into the rain. Just me now. Me and 50 contaminated between me and the basket coming back down for the final pickup. Gabriel Ramirez is standing in front of me, that wet smile. "Marcus," he says, "your daughter, Zoe, she's in the water, waiting. Come down. See her. Hold her. She's so cold." "Shut up," I say. "Zoe is fine. She's with her mother. She's safe." "Are you sure?" He tilts his head. "Pasadena is flooding. The contamination is spreading. Everyone's going down to the water. Why would Zoe be different? Why would your ex-wife be different?" He's in my head. The contamination knows about Zoe, knows that's my weakness. "Come down," he says. "Come see. If she's there, you can join her. If she's not, at least you'll know. Come down, Marcus. Come see." The basket is coming back. 20 feet away. 15. Gabriel and the others are between me and it. I have to get through them. I run, swinging the pipe wrench. They grab at me, but I'm faster, more desperate. I break through their line, sprinting for the basket. Hands grab my legs. I go down hard on the wet roof. They're pulling me back, toward the hatch, toward the water. "Come down," they whisper. "Come see." The basket is 10 feet away. I'm being dragged backward. I kick, swing the wrench, break free for a second, crawl toward the basket. A hand from above, the Coast Guard rescuer, reaching down from the basket. "Grab on." I reach up, our hands clasp. He pulls. I kick free of the contaminated and he hauls me into the basket. "Go!" I scream. "Go, go, go!" The cable winches up. The contaminated reach for us, but we're rising, lifting away from the roof, away from the water. I look down at them, at Gabriel and Maria Ramirez, at Hector, at Bethany's body floating in the glowing water below, at the thousands of figures wading through the flooded streets. Silent Quarter is gone, drowned, contaminated. But I'm alive. 21 residents are alive. The helicopter banks away, heading for high ground, heading for somewhere dry. I don't know if Zoe is safe. I don't know if the contamination reached Pasadena. I don't know if Houston will survive this. But I'm alive, for now. This is Marcus Kane, former head of security, Meridian Towers. 4:23 a.m., October 16th. I'm going home to find my daughter. The helicopter sets down at NRG Stadium. They've converted it to an emergency shelter. Hundreds of flood refugees crowded into the concourses, wrapped in Red Cross blankets, drinking bottled water. The medical team descends on us immediately, checking vitals, looking for gray skin, yellow eyes, signs of contamination. I'm clean. So is Deshawn, Mrs. Ashford, the Knox family, young Ramirez. All 21 survivors test negative for chemical exposure. Except we're all soaking wet. We've all been in the rain that's been falling on contaminated water, picking up toxins, spreading them across the city. How long until we know if we're infected? I ask the doctor examining me. She's exhausted, dark circles under her eyes. Honestly, we don't know. This toxin, whatever it is, we've never seen anything like it. CDC is calling it a Class 4 contamination event. EPA says it's chemical. Army Corps of Engineers says it's biological. Nobody knows what the hell we're dealing with. So we might turn into them? The gray ones? Maybe. We're keeping all flood survivors in observation for 72 hours. If you show symptoms, excessive thirst, skin discoloration, behavioral changes, you let us know immediately. And then what? She doesn't answer, just moves on to the next survivor. I find Deshawn in the crowded concourse. He's wrapped in a blanket, staring at nothing. You okay? Ask. No. He looks at me. Marcus, we pushed that woman off a roof. We did what we had to do. Did we? Or did we just panic? Maybe she wouldn't have hurt anyone. Maybe the contamination is reversible. Maybe we killed her for nothing. I don't have an answer. I've been asking myself the same question. Mrs. Ashford joins us. She's holding a cup of coffee, though God knows where she got it. The news is saying the entire east side is underwater. Chemical contamination spreading through the flood zones. They're estimating 10,000 casualties. Maybe more. Casualties? Deshawn laughs bitterly. That's a nice word for it. 10,000 people turned into gray-skinned water zombies. The National Guard is establishing a perimeter, Mrs. Ashford continues. Nobody in or out of the contaminated zone. They're calling it a quarantine. My blood goes cold. Pasadena. Is Pasadena inside the quarantine? She looks at me, at the fear in my eyes. I don't know. I need to find out. I need to know if Zoe is safe. I ask every official I can find. National Guard, FEMA, Red Cross. None of them will give me information about specific neighborhoods. They're overwhelmed. Thousands of people asking about loved ones. Nobody has answers. Finally, I find a National Guard sergeant with a tablet, showing an evacuation map. Pasadena, I say. Is it evacuated? Is it inside the contamination zone? He checks his tablet. Parts of it. South Pasadena is flooded. But the shelters in that area, he scrolls. Pasadena High School, San Jacinto College, First Baptist, they're all processing evacuees. If your family evacuated, they'd be there. Can I go check? No civilian movement. Quarantine is in effect. My daughter might be there. I need to know if she's okay. So do 5,000 other people, buddy. You'll have to wait. Wait, while Zoe might be in contaminated water, while she might be turning gray. Can't wait. I find a maintenance uniform in a supply closet. Put it on. Grab a clipboard because in my experience, people with clipboards can go anywhere. I walk out of NRG Stadium like I belong there, past the National Guard checkpoint. Nobody stops me. The streets are chaos. Emergency vehicles everywhere. Refugees streaming toward the shelter. I blend in, just another worker doing a job. I need transportation. The buses are all commandeered. Personal vehicles are prohibited. Then I see it. A FEMA truck, keys in the ignition, driver inside filling out paperwork. I don't think. I just act. Open the passenger door. Need a ride to the Pasadena shelters. Official business. The driver, an exhausted woman in her 40s, barely looks up. Get in. Just like that, I'm heading toward Pasadena, toward Zoe. The drive takes 40 minutes through flooded streets and emergency checkpoints. I keep showing my clipboard, keep saying official business. It works. Pasadena High School is a madhouse. Hundreds of evacuees, medical tents, emergency generators. I'm searching faces, looking for Zoe, for my ex-wife, Christina. Nothing. I check San Jacinto College, First Baptist Church. Nothing. Panic is setting in. Where are they? Did they evacuate somewhere else? Or are they still in the flood zone? I find a volunteer with a database of registered evacuees. Christina Kane, daughter Zoe Kane, 8 years old. Have they checked in anywhere? The volunteer searches longer. No record.
Sorry.
No record, which means they either didn't evacuate or they went somewhere not in the system. Or they're in the contaminated water. I need to check Christina's house. It's in the flood zone, inside the quarantine perimeter. But I don't care anymore. I need to know. I borrow an electric maintenance cart. Head toward Christina's neighborhood. The National Guard has checkpoints every few blocks. I avoid them, take side streets, back alleys, getting closer to the flood zone. The water is visible now, black and glowing faintly in the dawn light. That same bioluminescence I saw from the roof of Tower C. The contamination is spreading. And in the water I see them, the figures, waiting. Christina's street is flooded, water up to the first-floor windows. Her house, a modest one-story ranch, is half submerged. I wade in. The water is cold. Chemical smell overwhelming. I'm trying not to think about what I'm wading through. Trying not to think about Bethany's gray face. Gabriel's yellow eyes. Christina, I shout. Zoe. No answer. Just the sound of water lapping against houses. I reach Christina's front door. It's open. Water flowing in and out with the current. Inside is dark. Furniture floating. Picture frames submerged. Zoe's toys drifting in contaminated water. Zoe, I scream. Baby, where are you? Movement upstairs. I splash toward the staircase. The water's chest deep here. Every step is agony, waiting to feel a gray hand grab my ankle. Upstairs is dry. I burst into Zoe's bedroom. Empty. Bed's made. Her stuffed animals are lined up on the shelf, untouched. Relief floods through me. They're not here. They evacuated. They're safe somewhere. Then I hear it. From downstairs. A voice. Daddy. My heart stops. That's Zoe's voice. Daddy, come see. Come down to the water. No. No. I go to the staircase. Look down into the flooded first floor. Zoe is standing in the water. Her skin is gray. Her eyes are yellow. Her favorite dress is soaked, clinging to her small frame. She's smiling, that wet smile. Mommy's here too, she says in that underwater voice. We're waiting for you, Daddy. Come down. Come see. Christina emerges from the kitchen. Gray skin, yellow eyes, both of them looking up at me with that patient, mechanical calm. We found the water, Christina says. It's beautiful, cold, quiet. No more worrying about money. No more arguing. Just peace. Join us. This isn't happening. This can't be happening. Zoe, I say, my voice breaking. Baby, fight it. You're strong. You can fight it. Why would I fight? She asks, genuinely confused. I'm not scared anymore. The water took my fear, took everything bad. Now there's only the water, and you should come down. Come see. Gabriel was telling the truth. The contamination reached Pasadena, reached Christina's house, reached my daughter. Zoe starts climbing the stairs, water dripping from her dress, leaving gray, wet footprints on the carpet. Don't you love me anymore, Daddy? Don't you want to be with me? Come down. Come to the water. We can be together forever. Every instinct is screaming at me to run, to get out, to save myself. But she's my daughter, my baby. I've loved her since before she was born. I've worked double shifts to pay child support. I've missed sleep to make her birthday parties. She's everything. And now she's gone, replaced by this thing with yellow eyes. She reaches the top stair, holds out her small gray hand. Come on, Daddy, take my hand. Come down with us. I look at her, at what used to be my daughter, at the monster the contaminated water created. And I realize Gabriel was right. The water does take everything. Fear, love, humanity. It leaves only the desire to spread, to contaminate, to pull others down. Zoe isn't offering me salvation. She's offering me damnation. I step back, away from her reaching hand. I'm sorry, I whisper. I'm so sorry, baby. Hurt flashes across her face, real emotion breaking through the contamination for just a second. Daddy. Then it's gone, replaced by that calm mechanical patience. You'll come down eventually, she says. Everyone does. The water is rising. There's nowhere left to go. You'll join us. All of you will. Christina is at the bottom of the stairs now, both of them between me and the exit. I go to Zoe's window, open it. It's a 12-foot drop to the flooded yard, but I don't have a choice. Daddy, don't go, Zoe says, not pleading, just stating a fact. Stay with us. The water wants you. I climb out the window, hang from the sill, drop. I hit the water hard, go under, come up gagging on chemical taste, wade away from the house as fast as I can. Behind me, I hear Zoe calling from the window, come back, Daddy, come back to the water. I don't look back. I can't. If I look back, I'll see my daughter's gray face. I'll see what I've lost. I wade through the flooded streets, past more gray figures, past houses where entire families have transformed, past cars submerged in glowing, contaminated water. The National Guard finds me 3 blocks away, pulls me out, puts me in quarantine. They test me, over and over, checking for contamination. I'm clean. Somehow, despite wading through the water, despite touching Zoe's reaching hand for a split second before pulling away, I'm clean. But I'm not okay. I'll never be okay. This is Marcus Kane. October 17th, 2024. Day 2 after the flood. My daughter is gone, replaced by something that wears her face and speaks with her voice but isn't her. The CDC says they're working on a cure, a way to reverse the contamination. But I've seen what it does. I've seen how it spreads, how it transforms. There's no cure for this. There's only quarantine, and waiting, and hoping the water stops rising. Houston is dying. The contamination is spreading beyond the flood zones. People who drank tap water before the advisory. People who touched rain puddles. People who helped flood victims not knowing they were already turned. The governor is calling for federal intervention. The president is talking about containment protocols. The CDC is using words like extinction event. And I'm sitting in a quarantine tent, wrapped in a gray blanket, drinking bottled water, and trying not to think about Zoe's yellow eyes. Trying not to hear her voice calling, "Come down, Daddy, come see." They say the water is receding, that the rain finally stopped, that in a few days the flood will be gone. But the contamination will remain, in the groundwater, in the buildings, in the people who transformed and are now walking the streets, looking for others to pull down. Silent Quarter was just the beginning. The old chemical dump they paved over and forgot about. The toxins they buried and hoped would stay buried. But nothing stays buried forever. And now Houston is learning what happens when you build luxury on top of poison. When you ignore history in favor of profit. When you assume concrete can contain what should never have existed in the first place. The city drowned, and what rose from the water wasn't human anymore. Day 7. The water has receded. I'm still in quarantine at NRG Stadium, along with 3,000 other survivors. They've divided us into zones based on exposure level. Red zone, direct contact with contaminated individuals. Yellow zone, exposure to contaminated water. Green zone, minimal exposure, observation only. I'm red zone because I touched Zoe's hand, because I waded through flooded streets looking for her, because I have chemical burns on my skin from where the water touched me. 7 days and I'm still human, still thinking, still grieving. The doctors say I'm lucky, that whatever protects some people from the contamination, genetics, immune system, pure chance, I have it, for now. But they're keeping me isolated anyway. Glass walls, hazmat-suited staff, blood tests every 6 hours, watching for the first signs of gray. Deshawn is in yellow zone, Mrs. Ashford too. The Knox family is green zone, they were in the helicopter faster, had less exposure. Young Ramirez is red zone with me. His parents pulled him into the water before we rescued him. He touched them, held them, begged them to come back. He hasn't spoken in 4 days, just sits in his quarantine cube, staring at the wall. Sometimes I hear him crying at night. Sometimes I hear him whisper "Mom" over and over. I don't have the heart to tell him it's not his mother anymore, that the thing wearing her face is still out there, wading through the ruins of Houston, looking for more people to contaminate. The news plays constantly on the TVs mounted to the walls. I can't stop watching, even though every broadcast makes it worse. The death toll, 47,000 confirmed dead, another 93,000 missing, presumed transformed. The contamination zone, expanding. What started in Silent Quarter has spread to 15 neighborhoods. The floodwaters carried the toxins everywhere. Storm drains, bayous, water treatment plants. Someone on the news called it the silent plague. The name stuck. The government response. National Guard has sealed off the eastern third of Houston. Nobody in, nobody out. They're calling it a humanitarian quarantine zone. But everyone knows what it really is. A containment area. A place to let the contamination run its course while they figure out what to do. Aerial footage shows the quarantine zone. Empty streets, abandoned cars, and figures, thousands of them, walking with that mechanical patience. All gray, all searching for uncontaminated humans. They don't eat, don't sleep, don't die from thirst or hunger. The contamination sustains them somehow, keeps them moving, keeps them spreading the water. The CDC finally released information about what they're dealing with. A chemical cocktail from the old industrial sites, mixed with organic compounds in the floodwater, creating something new. Something that rewrites human biology, replaces red blood cells with a crystalline suspension, alters brain chemistry to eliminate fear, pain, individual desire, creates a hive behavior focused entirely on spreading the contamination. They have no idea how to reverse it, no idea how to kill it without killing the host, no idea how to stop it from spreading. All they can do is contain, and wait, and hope it burns itself out. But I've seen those yellow eyes. I've heard that underwater voice. The contamination doesn't burn out. It adapts, it spreads, is patient. Day 9. They move me to a new facility. It's a converted office building in West Houston, miles from the contamination zone. They're calling it a long-term observation center, which means they don't know what to do with us. The ones who were exposed but didn't turn. The ones who might still be infected but aren't showing symptoms. We're not sick, but we're not safe to release. I get a private room, 12 by 12 feet, bed, sink, toilet, TV, a window that doesn't open, looking out at the parking lot where National Guard trucks are stationed. They say I can have visitors, but who's left to visit? My ex-wife is contaminated. My daughter is contaminated. My friends from work, Hector's contaminated, Deshawn's in his own quarantine, and everyone else is either dead or missing. Mrs. Ashford comes to see me. They've moved her to green zone now. She's tested clean for 9 days straight. She brings cookies, snickerdoodles, from a package this time, not homemade, but the gesture matters. How are you holding up? She asks through the glass partition. We talk via intercom. I'm alive, I say. Doesn't feel like much of an accomplishment. It is. You saved 21 people, Marcus. Got them off that roof. That matters. I pushed a woman to her death. I watched my daughter turn into a monster. I failed everyone. Mrs. Ashford is quiet for a moment. Then, you did what anyone could do, what most people couldn't. You stayed human in an inhuman situation. Bethany was human, until she wasn't. How do I know I won't wake up tomorrow with gray skin and yellow eyes? How do I know the contamination isn't just dormant, waiting? You don't. None of us do. But you're here now. You're still you. That's what matters. She tells me about the other survivors. The Knox family has been released. They're staying with relatives in San Antonio. Young Ramirez is being treated for trauma and survivor's guilt. Deshawn tested clean and was released yesterday. They're talking about demolishing Silent Quarter, Mrs. Ashford says. The whole development. They say it's too contaminated to salvage. They'll tear it down, seal the site with concrete again. Like that'll fix anything. It won't, I say. The contamination is in the groundwater now. In the bayous. It's spreading through the entire water table. You can't seal that. I know, but they have to do something. Have to look like they're solving the problem. She leaves after an hour. Promises to visit again. I don't know if she will. I don't know if I want her to. Every visitor is a reminder of what I've lost. Day 12. A new doctor arrives. Her name is Dr. Keisha Williams, CDC specialist in infectious diseases and chemical contamination. She's been studying the silent plague since day one. Mr. Kane, she says, sitting across from me in the observation room. You're something of an anomaly. You had extensive contact with contaminated water and contaminated individuals, but you show zero signs of infection. We need to understand why. Lucky genes, I suggest. Possibly, but we've tested your blood 17 times. Your white cell count is elevated, suggesting your immune system is fighting something. But there's no trace of the crystalline compounds we see in contaminated individuals. It's like your body is actively rejecting the infection. So what do you want from me? Blood samples, tissue biopsies. I want to understand your immunity. If we can isolate what's protecting you, we might be able to develop a vaccine, a treatment, something to stop this before it spreads beyond Houston. It's already spreading, isn't it? She hesitates, then nods. Dallas reported 3 cases yesterday. Austin has 2. The contamination is in the water supply now, moving through pipes and treatment plants. We're trying to contain it, but water flows everywhere. I finish. You can't quarantine water. No, we can't, which is why we need your immunity, need to understand it. Will you help us? I look at her tired eyes, at the desperation barely hidden behind professional calm. She's trying to save the world with blood tests and biopsies, fighting an unstoppable plague with science and hope. Yeah, I say, I'll help, Not like I'm doing anything else. They take blood. So much blood I feel lightheaded. They take tissue samples from my skin, my throat, my lungs. They put me through CT scans and MRIs and tests I don't have names for. Dr. Williams is looking for something, some marker, some clue. But I know the truth she doesn't want to admit. I'm not immune. I'm just lucky, and luck runs out. Day 15. Young Ramirez tries to kill himself. They find him in his quarantine room, trying to hang himself with a bedsheet. The guards cut him down, rush him to medical, save his life. But I understand why he tried. I thought about it too. Thought about ending things before the contamination takes me. Before I turn into something that wears my face but isn't me. They put him on suicide watch, 24-hour monitoring, psychiatric evaluation, all the protocols designed to keep people alive who don't want to be alive anymore. I asked to see him. They let me through glass partitions. He looks awful. Bruises on his neck from the sheet, dark circles under his eyes. He's lost weight, lost hope. Why'd they stop me? He asks. Why couldn't they just let me go? Because you're alive, I say. Because you matter. To who? My parents are gone, turned into those things. I don't have anyone else. No aunts or uncles. No grandparents. I'm alone. You're not alone. You have. Don't. He looks at me with hollow eyes. Don't tell me I have the other survivors. Don't tell me I have the doctors. Don't tell me things will get better. They won't. My mom tried to pull me into the water. My dad smiled while he was drowning. You know what that does? Seeing your parents stop being your parents. I do know. I saw it with Zoe. Saw my daughter become something else. I'm sorry, I say. I wish I could have saved them. You did save me. That's the problem. You pulled me out of the water when I wanted to stay with them. When I wanted to go down. Part of me still wants to go down. To walk into the contamination zone and find them and join them. At least then we'd be together. They're not your parents anymore. I know, but maybe I could be with what's left. Maybe that's better than being alone. I don't have an answer, because maybe he's right. Maybe joining the contamination is easier than surviving it. Day 20. Dr. Williams has news. We've isolated something, she says. Her eyes are bright with exhaustion and excitement. Your blood contains antibodies we haven't seen before, not naturally occurring. It's like your immune system created entirely new proteins specifically to fight the contamination. That's good, right? It's unprecedented. Your body didn't just resist the infection, it actively developed a defense against it. We're calling them guardian proteins. If we can synthesize them, we could create a vaccine. How long? Months, maybe years. This is brand new immunology. We have to understand the mechanism, replicate it, test it. Years, I say flatly. The contamination is spreading now. Dallas, Austin, you said. How many other cities by the time you finish testing? We're doing everything we can. It's not enough. She looks at me, really looks at me, seeing not a test subject but a man who's lost everything. No, she admits, it's probably not, but it's all we have. Day 23. The news reports a breakthrough in the quarantine zone. The National Guard has developed a new protocol. They're using chemical dispersants, surfactants that break down the crystalline compounds in the contaminated water, spraying it from helicopters over the flood zones. Early reports suggest it's working. Contaminated water is being neutralized. The gray figures are stopping, collapsing. The contamination is being killed. For the first time in 3 weeks, I feel something like hope. Then they show the footage, what the dispersants actually do. The contaminated don't just stop. They disintegrate, The crystalline compounds in their blood break down rapidly, catastrophically. Their bodies essentially dissolve. Skin sloughing off. Internal organs liquefying. They die screaming, melting into puddles of chemical soup. 93,000 contaminated individuals. 93,000 people who used to be human, all killed in the most horrific way imaginable. Including Zoe, including Christina, including Gabriel and Maria Ramirez and Hector and Bethany and everyone else who touched the water. They show it on live TV, show the helicopters spraying, show the contaminated collapsing in the streets, show the aftermath, the gray sludge that used to be people flowing into storm drains. The news anchors call it a necessary tragedy, a difficult but essential step. They use words like humane and controlled and justified. But I'm watching my daughter melt. Somewhere in that quarantine zone, Zoe is dissolving into chemical waste, and they're calling it a victory. I turn off the TV, sit in my quarantine room, and for the first time since the flood, I cry. Not quiet tears, not dignified grief, ugly, choking sobs that come from somewhere deep and broken. Zoe is gone, really gone now, not transformed, not contaminated, dead, melted, destroyed by the same government that's supposed to protect her. Mrs. Ashford visits, doesn't say anything, just sits on her side of the glass while I fall apart on mine. Day 30, they release me. Dr. Williams signs the papers. You're clean. No contamination markers. Your guardian proteins are stable. You're free to go. Go where? Ask. My apartment was in Silent Quarter. My job was in Silent Quarter. Everything I had is gone. FEMA has housing assistance, temporary shelter. Will help you get back on your feet. Back on my feet. Like I can just walk out of here and resume life. Like I didn't lose my daughter. Like I didn't watch a city drown. They give me civilian clothes, a voucher for food and housing, a phone number for trauma counseling, a pamphlet about rebuilding after disaster. Deshaun is waiting outside the facility. He drove 3 hours from wherever he's staying now to pick me up. Hey man, he says, thought you could use a ride. We drive in silence for a while. The city looks different. Half of it is empty now, evacuated, abandoned, waiting to see if the contamination comes back. The other half is trying desperately to pretend everything's normal. Where you heading? Deshaun asks. I don't know. Anywhere but here. You could come stay with me and my wife. We've got a spare room. It's not much, but... Thanks, but I need to be alone for a while. He nods, understands. We were both on that roof. We both pushed Bethany over the edge. We both carry that weight. He drops me at a motel on the west side, shakes my hand, tells me to call if I need anything. Then I'm alone, in a sterile room with bad art on the walls and a TV that only gets basic cable. I turn on the news, can't help myself. They're calling it the Houston Recovery. Demolition crews are tearing down Silent Quarter. Hazmat teams are sealing storm drains. The EPA is treating the groundwater. Engineers are building a new containment system for the old chemical dumps. They're doing everything they did before, paving over the problem, hoping it stays buried this time. The death toll, 140,000, between those who drowned, those who transformed, and those who were killed by the dispersants. Silent Quarter's developer, a man named Richard Moss, is under investigation. Federal prosecutors are looking into whether he knew about the contamination risk, whether he falsified safety reports, whether he murdered 140,000 people through negligence and greed. But he's currently in Monaco, beyond extradition, living in a luxury apartment that he bought with the profits from Silent Quarter. The residents who survived, who paid thousands a month to live in luxury condos built on poison, are filing lawsuits. Class action against the developer, against the EPA, against the city, against anyone with money. Mrs. Ashford is one of the plaintiffs. I got a letter from her lawyer asking if I want to join, asking if I want to fight for compensation for what was taken from me. I threw the letter away. No amount of money brings back Zoe. No settlement makes watching her melt worth it. I sit in the motel room, day after day, watching the news, watching Houston try to recover from something that can't be recovered from. Dr. Williams calls sometimes, updates me on the vaccine development. They're making progress, slow progress. Maybe in 2 years they'll have something. Maybe. Young Ramirez calls once, from a psychiatric facility. His voice is flat, medicated. He asks if I'm okay. I lie and say yes. He lies and says he is too. We both know we're lying. Deshawn texts. Mrs. Ashford sends cards. The Knox family sends a fruit basket to the motel. Everyone trying to maintain connection, to pretend we're all going to be okay. But we're not okay. We're survivors of something that shouldn't have happened, living with choices we shouldn't have had to make. I dream about Zoe every night. Sometimes she's normal, laughing, playing, asking for bedtime stories. Sometimes she's gray, reaching for me, asking me to come down to the water. Sometimes she's melting, screaming as the dispersants dissolve her. I wake up every morning and the first thing I think is, she's gone. My daughter is gone. And then I have to figure out how to keep living anyway. This is Marcus Kane, former head of security, former father, survivor of Silent Quarter. It's been 43 days since the flood, since the water rose, since Houston drowned. The water has receded. The contamination has been neutralized. Life is supposedly returning to normal. But I still taste chemicals when I drink water, still hear wet breathing in the quiet, still see yellow eyes when I close mine. Silent Quarter is gone, demolished, sealed. The luxury towers where I worked for $11 an hour are now just rubble and chemical waste. But the poison is still there, in the ground, in the water, in me. You can't pave over poison and expect it to stay buried. You can't build luxury on top of death and expect it to hold. You can't drown a city and expect everyone to just forget. Silent Quarter was supposed to be urban renewal, progress, the future. Instead, it was a grave, and when the rains came, the dead rose up. They're rebuilding already. New developments, new promises, new lies about safety and progress and the future. I wonder how long until the next flood, until the next chemical dump reaches the surface, until the next Silent Quarter drowns. I wonder if I'll still be here to see it, or if the contamination dormant in my blood will finally wake up, turn me gray, send me walking into water, looking for others to pull down. Dr. Williams says I'm clean, says the guardian proteins in my blood prove I'm immune. But I touched Zoe's hand. I waded through contaminated water. I tasted poison. Maybe immunity is temporary. Maybe one day I'll wake up gray, and I'll understand why Gabriel smiled, why Maria was so calm, why they all walked into the water without fear. Maybe the contamination is mercy, taking everything away. Fear, grief, guilt, memory, and leaving only the water, cool, dark, quiet. Maybe I should have stayed on that roof, followed Bethany over the edge, joined Zoe in the water. But I didn't. I climbed into the rescue basket. I survived. And now I have to figure out what surviving means. How to live in a world where my daughter melted in the streets, where I pushed a woman to her death, where I failed everyone who needed me. The trauma counselor says it wasn't my fault, says I did the best I could, says I need to forgive myself. But some things can't be forgiven. Some choices can't be unmade. Some water can't be escaped. This is Marcus Kane, survivor, witness, the man who lived when so many others died. Silent Quarter is gone, but its poison remains. In Houston's water, in my blood, in the dreams that wake me screaming. They say water always finds its way, flows through cracks, seeps through barriers, reaches places it shouldn't reach. The flood has receded, but the water is still rising. And sooner or later, we'll all have to decide. Do we keep climbing, keep running, keep fighting the inevitable? Or do we finally go down to the water? Come see what's waiting in the depths. Come see what Silent Quarter became. Come see what we're all becoming. The water is patient. The water is rising. The water always wins. And in the end, we all go down.